All right, today we're going to take a look at the ASCII sort method that I built for the challenge. Now, ASCII sort is a sorting algorithm that will sort strings by their ASCII value. That's pretty much it. So what it does is when we go through, the first thing we do is we create an empty array called sorted array. Now this is where everything's going to be pushed into once it's been bucketized and sorted, which we'll go over temporarily. The next thing that we do is we set a count equal to 0. Now this count is going to be used to check the ASCII value at a particular index. And that index is what we'll see in a moment. And then I'm going to initialize my buckets array. Now I have to initialize this buckets array in order to create a set or a matrix to start testing against. Now what I do is I bucketize the array that is passed in. Now what that means is I create a, well, let's just go ahead and take a look at the method. I'm going to create a set of an array of buckets that is the length of the total number of ASCII characters, and each of these is going to be initialized to an empty array. And then with the array passed in, over on each item passed in, I'm going to check that string index by the ORD number, and that's the ASCII value of that character. And I'm going to pass it into the bucket at that ASCII value. Then, whatever buckets are empty, I'm going to use the reject method built into the arrays to get rid of all the empty buckets. Again, there's probably going to be at least 100, if not more, empty buckets per string. So I'm going to get rid of those, and then that will be my index method, or my initial bucket array. And then, until the buckets array is empty, I'm going to shift a value off the front of that bucket into the temp value, and that value should be an array, and I'm looking at it to have a length of 1. If it doesn't have a length of 1, and that validation is checked on using the validations method, then if it has a length of 1, then I'm going to push that array, or that temp value, into my sorted array. Now when sorted array is finished, it will be an array of arrays that are all size 1. That is the goal of this method here. If it's not size 1, if it doesn't pass the validity check, I'm going to create a new buckets array by unshifting, basically, or I'm going to append to the front, prepend, if you will, that temp value that's been bucketized. So again, it's just going to combine the new bucketized temp to the rest of the buckets array. And then again, we're going until buckets is empty, so it will continue to do this until my bucket is empty. Then when I'm finished, I will pass back a flattened sorted array, and I'm flattening it in order to make it all just one array in sorted order at this point. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and run the test itself. So clear screen, and I'm just going to grab one of the shuffled arrays from the RSpec that I was given, and that's James, Kenny, Christine, Abby, Alexis, Kenny, $, and # strings. I'm going to shuffle them so that they're not just what they were, and then I'm going to return a sorted array. So let's do that first. Alright, so as you can see, it's sorted both by ASCII values and in alphabetical order. Okay, now the next test on this, and this is where I had the most trouble, is that if there were a value that was passed into temp that fit two particular, or it kept passing in a temp that had a size of more than 1, then what would happen is it wouldn't work. It wouldn't fit. It wouldn't sort those arrays, and it could have a bug. It would pass in that temp value in varying orders, and I had to fix that. So let's go ahead and test that now. Abby and Abby with IE should build up a temp value until we get to the IE and Y part. And let's see, I did have print statements in here. And this was in order to see that it finally created that temp array with values of 1 each. Okay, so we can see that these values are passed in until they're put in the appropriate sorted order. Once they're in sorted order, then it passes it back out to the sorted array. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, so you can see there how it takes those objects into account, even if the string is mostly similar all the way through. Once it's sorted, then it returns the final sorted array. All right. Finally, let's go ahead and do the RSpec. So let's handle exec RSpec. All right, and as you can see with the RSpec, it ran 5 examples. There were 0 failures, and that's it. Notice that no particular sorting method, other named or unnamed built-in sorting methods were used in this. I simply just kept bucketizing the arrays until it returned what I needed it to return. All right, that's it. Thanks.